Okay, so some of you guys, I wanted to make sure you understood what we were doing in class today, so I decided to make an extra video so you can watch at your own pace. Alright, so if we were asking for f of 0 right here, that means our x-coordinate is 0. We're trying to find what our y is. So we go to x equals 0, which is right here, so it's going to equal 2. Alright, so x equals 0, we're trying to find out what our y is. That's right here, so it's 0, 2, so it equals 2. Alright, so if they ask us, like, what is f of 1? Well, we know f of 1, our x equals 1, and so it looks like that's probably going to be a little bit less than 2, so we can say like that. It's 1.9. Alright, so if they asked us, like, what is f of negative 1? We go over to negative 1, we see this point right here, it's going to equal 1. All we're doing with this f of something is we're given our x value, we're trying to find our y. So if we move on to something like what we were doing towards the end of class, if we said, for what x values does f of x equal 0? Well, that means where y equals 0, we're trying to see where it crosses that y equals 0 line. So it crosses it once here, here, and here. Alright? So our x values would probably be about negative 1.8, because that's where it crosses right here on our x-axis. We would have x equals positive 2, and then finally 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6.2. Alright, crosses about right there. Alright, so hopefully that helps a little bit for those types of problems. If it asked, where does f of x equal 1, where does f of x equal 1? Well, you would look at the y equals 1. Where does y equal 1? And you've got a point here and a point right there. So x, the x values for that, would be negative 1. So you see, this is your y equals 1 value. Then you're trying to find what the x value is. That's negative 1. And then here you see that y equals 1. Then x equals like 1.8. So you're trying to see where exactly that equals on the x value, for the x value. Alright, then if we said f of x is greater than 0, this is what we're doing at the end of class. If we're looking at where it's positive, that means we're saying where is y greater than 0. So we're looking at y equals 0 and we're looking above that axis. So we see that it crosses the axis here and here, it's above it, and then it's here, and then it keeps going. So our first interval is right here. We have to see where on the x-axis that is. So it crosses, we already saw it cross at about negative 1.8, so that's our first point. And then the next point where it comes back to cross is 2. So we're saying that we have an interval of where y is positive from negative 1.8 to 2. Notice we have open intervals because it's asking where it's bigger than 0, not bigger or equal to 0. And then finally, when it crosses the y-axis right there, we said that was about 6.2. We know that that's going to be 6.2, and then if it keeps going, if this was an arrow right here, we could say that it goes on to infinity. But since we have a dot right here, it just goes to 1. And we can keep that closed since it's included right there. Alright, so hopefully that helped out a little bit. Another type of question it asked you is for the x and the y intercepts. For the x and the y intercepts, so x-intercept is just where it crosses the x-axis, so where y equals 0. So we actually already answered both of these questions, so we know where y equals 0. We asked that here, so we know we have negative 1.8 comma 0. We know we have 2 comma 0, and we have 6.2 comma 0, because those are our x-intercepts, where it crosses the x-axis. Then we have our y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. It only crosses it once, so it's going to be 0 comma 2. So now, if you had trouble with any of the stuff we did in class today at the end, this is an extra video helping you out. Rewind, watch it again, and hopefully this will help on your homework.